icon in comedy, a fighter for freedoms, an accomplished entertainer, and a pervert. You've got problems, he's got problems. You've got questions, he's got answers, some of which are good. Call now, 866-WOW-1-WOW. That's 866-969-1969. This is the Jim Norton Show.
Favorite person, Jim Norton. I hate introducing myself. I never know how to start a show. I've talked about this many times. And even when I do my Boneyard show, I do a show on Oz's Boneyard 5 nights a week.
Chipper Radio.
My mic is super low. How is that? Is that better? I have to turn it. Hold on, guys. Lou is telling me. Is that better? Okay, cool. Lou was in my ear. You guys couldn't hear that, but he threw a slur at me about my sexual preference. I never know how to start a show, so I'm always like, "Hi, it's Jim Norton." It's like everybody knows who it is if you're listening to this, and those of you that don't will figure it out quickly. Today was a fun show. Gilbert was on, and of course the great Dick Cavett, and we had Jerry Cooney. Really interesting mix, which I love about that being serious. You know, you get all these people that can come on the show in a very short period of time and hang out together. Anyway, things are okay for me. I mean, I've been complaining for a while because I've been involved with this, having this apartment renovated that I'm moving into just to make it livable. It was a disaster when I got it. And it's just a fucking money pit. And then you start to panic and, you know, whatever. I'm saying the same thing every week, but I'll live. But I'm very happy that I'm touring right now because it's helping me, take care of what I need to take care of. And I guess that's one good thing I've been thinking of is I'm not like, you know how you waste a lot of money and like I'm so glad I'm not wasting what I'm making. Like I'm putting it into something that I have to put it into, but I'm not throwing it away on gambling or on drugs. You know, I spend some on sex, but you know, not even that much anymore. All right, John in Connecticut. By the way, 866-969-1969 if you want to call up and chat about anything. I'm going to start a podcast soon. I've been saying that, but I have to figure out what equipment to get. And I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I know I like this headset mic, although I'll probably miss Lou telling me when I'm low and high, and I'm not going to know how it sounds until I'm done. Maybe I'll have to get somebody to help me do it. Or maybe I'll have to learn to check the levels myself. But I really want to do my own podcast. I just don't know what to talk about, what I'd call it. Maybe Jim Norton's podcast. Oh, I don't know. Too catchy. Hi, John in Connecticut. What's up?
Hey, so today is my 16-year clean and sober anniversary day.
Oh, congratulations.
And it's kind of weird because, like, I know I'm telling the entire, universe right now, but on Facebook, I'm like, kind of debating whether or not to even bring it up because I was 17 when I quit, and nobody that knows me now really knew me then. And it's like, if you were to go on a first date with a girl, and she told you she was a recovering alcoholic, you'd be like, you might have some second thoughts. Now, if you never knew she was a recovering alcoholic, and she never told you, and she just said, I don't like to drink, you wouldn't think anything of it. And it's kind of like, do I want to throw myself out there just for the compliments? Or do you, at this point, it's not like I struggle and go to AA meetings or anything like that. I struggle mentally, to stay sane with the psychiatric cocktails that are always changing. Right. But it's just one of those things when anonymity starts to kick in and pride no longer exists. Do you really need to announce to the world that you've done this thing? I mean, like I said, it's not a struggle, so I don't feel it's of much of accomplishment, but should I just say it just to, like, help those that are still sick and suffering?
Well, as long as you know what your motives are. I mean, it's one of those things where it's not a taboo thing anymore to be a recovering alcoholic. So nobody gives a shit in the sense that, like, they're like, oh my God, you are. If you say, yeah, I had a problem, one way to announce it, go on Facebook and say, hey, fat girls, 16 years ago today, I might have fucked you. And they'll understand, this guy used to drink. But no, you got to say, if you're doing it to help people, but you just kind of said you're not doing it to help people, you want to brag a little. So if you know the motives are to brag, hey, look, we're all arrogant asses at times, but sometimes it's humbling experiences help. So if you know the motive is to brag, then say, you know what, I'm going to make myself have a little humility and I'm not going to brag. Because it really is a gift. We're very lucky to have it. We have to maintain it. We have to do what's required, whether that's going to certain meetings or whatever it is that we have to do, or talking to people or helping people. But we are very fortunate. If you're sober 16 years, or I'm sober for most of my adult life, we're lucky people. We're not people who did this great thing and deserve a pat on the back and a hand job. We're people statistically who are very rare, who have made it out, whereas most people will never get that chance. Most people will die in bad shape from it. So the fact that you're one of the few people, statistically, who put together 16 years without pissing on yourself, without driving drunk, be grateful for that as opposed to wanting to brag about it. And you just said you want to brag about it, so maybe, you could say,
I was debating. I think we're... the misunderstanding is that was the debate, whether or not would I be bragging, or would I be alerting people that I have some kind of I'm damaged good, or would I be inspiring those who are still sick and suffering? Like, which one do you think I'd be doing by posting that?
Well, if you want to talk about, if you're not talking about any program in particular, saying that you are a recovering alcoholic is not breaking your anonymity. I think that breaking anonymity is about naming certain programs. They just request that you don't. But as far as your own personal things, saying I'm in recovery, I go to meetings, whatever or you don't go, whatever you don't do or do, keeping it vague as far as where you go, I think is fine. If you think that you're carrying the message and you want to say, hey, look, I'm sober, for anybody out there, you can do it. My life is great. I think that's fine.
Okay. I think, it's just like, social media and all that. It's kind of like, you put it up there. It's kind of like telling a girl on the first date, which is something that I've never done.
Well, you don't have to.
Yeah. So I'm trying to just debate whether or not it's worth even doing. I don't think it's a pride thing. I think the humility thing has kicked in.
Okay.
So I think what you're saying is making sense. And I think that the people that are close to me are the ones that would probably come to me if they knew somebody that needed help. So I think like posting it maybe would, come off as me bragging. I don't know. I think what you're saying makes complete sense, so I appreciate it.
Okay. Well, either way, it's not harmful to post it. I mean, congratulations. I think it's great on 16 years. Obviously, you have to do a lot of work to maintain that, but it beats the option. So, I mean, I'm happy for you, man. And if you post about it, just be honest about it. If you don't, hey, my life is great now. If you're posting it to tell people, hey, look, if you're thinking about quitting, life is really fantastic on this side, or it's better, so much better, then do that, okay?
Okay.
Take care, man.
That's a great way to put it. Thank you so much.
All right, be good. Let's see. Matt in New York. Hi, Matt.
Hey, Jimmy, how you doing?
I'm cool, buddy. How are you?
I'm good. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Thanks, man.
No, but I've been listening to Opie and Anthony since way before the St. Patrick's Cathedral days, and I will say one of the most jaw-dropping pieces of radio I've ever listened to was that random morning when you and Opie kind of just opened up a whole bunch of stuff a couple months ago, and I was wondering kind of...
Oh, during the argument, yeah.
It was jaw-dropping, really, and it was something I never knew was kind of boiling beneath the surface, and it was just... I wanted to understand kind of what's happened since then. How's your relationship with Opie, and what do you think the future's going to bring in terms of this platform here?
With Opie and I, we're fine. I mean, we rode the train home together today, just talking. Kenny normally drops Ope off, but I had to shit desperately, so I was debating going with them, and I'm like, the train is faster. So he's like, yeah, I'll take the train with you. So we just took the subway and yapped. But our relationship is fine. I mean, it's, we're in this situation. We both enjoy doing radio. I like doing the radio show. Again, his relationship with Anthony was not good at the end, or not, Again, it was survivable, but my relationship with Ant is still very good. But our relationship is fine.
And then, like, is that stuff still at play? I mean, are you guys still kind of on the same view on that? Because I saw kind of structural differences on how you guys see that period. And, there's one thing seeing as an outsider is just, it seems like, Opie had a lot to, and I'm not an Opie defender in any way. It was just more that he was kind of like the grown-up in the room with Anthony who would always, put things at risk. And I'm just, I'm surprised that you guys haven't come more kind of onto the same page in terms of, we're the future looking through this rather than letting Anthony kind of keep a wedge between anyone.
Well, Anthony doesn't keep a wedge between anyone. I mean, my friendship for Anthony or my loyalty to Anthony, Opie understands that. Opie's never once, even though he was pissed about certain things, but he's never said to me, don't go on Ant's show, or I don't, he understands that, even if he had issues with Ant, or with the way the show was going at one point. But, it's not a wedge. I don't feel like that's a wedge. And I would never allow anyone to tell me who to be friends with. And honestly, he wouldn't want to do that. It's not the nature of the friendship. Anthony would never think to say to me, treat Opie this way. It's just not the way we interact with each other. I think people know I'm a strong enough personality and that I'm going to be friends with who I want to, and no one's ever asked me not to be.
Yeah, for sure. And I didn't mean to suggest that. And just one more question, if I could. It seems like, that was obviously like something as a long-time listener did not know there was that much boiling up. Didn't really hear much about it afterwards. Is that something that kind of like there were some off-radio discussions about, let's kind of keep this, as a private matter, or have things changed since then, or what's going on with you guys?
We didn't really talk about it after the year. I've said this since that happened. One of the differences between whether it's myself and Opie or Opie and Anthony or me and when you're on the radio together, you're talking every day, you begin to resolve things quickly or they fester. But we had it out on the air for over an hour. So the next day it's kind of hard to walk in angry again. It's like, it's emotionally draining. And you say, hey, and you start talking and it's a little awkward. But you have to talk about the news. You have to talk about things as opposed to ignoring somebody for a month in an office. The next day, you're already collaborating creatively again. You're already talking again because you're forced to by the nature of your work. So, maybe two cops who are partners, like you got to get in the car together and ride around. So eventually you work things out just because you're this close and you have to discuss certain things. So we never really sat down and talked about it after, but it just kind of worked itself out. That's the way these things usually are.
I gotcha. So you guys haven't really had any sort of closure. Kind of was just like, let's move forward. Yeah,
we don't feel like we need closure. It's not. I'm not angry at him, and I don't feel like he's angry at me. Closure when you have an ongoing relationship, it's not like we're ending. Like he's going his way and I'm going my way, and we need closure. I think closure is important at times, but I think at times it's overrated. I think closure you can get from yourself in the situation. I don't think you always need to have the other person tell you a certain thing or whatever. Blah, blah. If Opie and I wound up arguing again and not being friends and blowing up the radio show or whatever, and we never had closure, the closure would be we worked together for a long time. He's the guy that did bring me on board. He did a lot for me in my life. People who don't like Opie, okay, fine. You have the right to not like any of us. But, I am not in the position I'm in and having nothing to do with Opie. You know what I mean? Like, I can never forget the fact that he's the guy that brought me in. And it doesn't mean that you love someone every minute just because they brought you in. But I don't lose sight of that fact either, is that I do owe the guy a lot.
Yeah, I don't think of it that way, like you owe him anything. It's more about just, you guys have a new path to build, and it would be great to focus on that, because it is.
Well, yeah, we do. We just do the show every day. Today, I loved it. We had Dick Cavett and, of course, Mark Norman came in and Jerry Cooney and Gilbert Godfrey. And it was fun.
Yeah, the heck of a life. Awesome, man. Well, appreciate the time.
All right, man. Take care. Thanks, pal. Let's see here. I don't know, John. Indiana. Good question. What's up?
Hey there, Jimmy. Hey, me and my wife are having this argument, and I'm just getting over a flu. And I'm trying to tell her that there's no way that she can catch my flu from sucking my dick.
I don't know what that is. I don't know, buddy. Can she catch the flu from... I doubt it. I doubt it.
That's what I keep trying to tell her.
But again, you might sneeze and you might cough it in your hand and then grab your cock.
don't know. Hey, Jimmy, can I ask you another question?
Okay.
And I don't want to come across as an asshole when I'm asking this.
Okay.
But I've listened to you for a while. You are the funniest motherfucker I've ever heard.
Thank you.
Okay? And I know you come up with Kevin and with Bobby and all them. But why the fuck are you not more popular and famous than those guys? You should be.
Then who? Oh, Kevin Hart? You know, dude, what happens
Kevin and Bobby and all them.
What happens is when you come up with a crop of guys, you know, sometimes you look at your career, and my relative comparisons are people like Kevin Hart, or you look at Amy Schumer or Louis or how well they're doing, or Bill, and you're like, wow, man, those guys are doing great. But I'm happy with where my career is. Why am I not where they are? I honestly don't know. I mean, maybe they're just better comedians. You know, it's a tough question. I guess you would have to ask people at large that question. Because I like what I do. I'm comfortable with what I do. I like doing topical stuff. I love doing radio. But, you know, I mean, it's a tough question to answer. I mean, they're all talented people. When I look at Kevin or I look at Louis or Bill or Amy or any other people that have done better than me, it's hard when you know somebody is really funny to feel any I have no bitterness towards any of those guys. And I really mean that. I have no that ought to be me. There's not an ounce of that, because when guys who are funny are doing well, you feel like, okay, that's kind of how it should be. So I like my career, but I always want to keep it moving forward. So hopefully I'll continue moving forward. But that's a good question. I don't have an answer for you.
All right. Well, thank you, Jimmy.
All right, pal. Thank you for listening.
Blabo!
Thanks a lot. Tom in Philly. When am I going for something big? What's up? We're moving forward, have a big fear. Okay, what's up, Tom?
How you doing, buddy? I've followed your career for a long time, and I know that you have the same kind of talking about yourself that a lot of us do, with being, you know, the chubby nothing and this, that, and the other thing. But you still have obviously a measure of success. Yeah. And I was wondering, a lot of times you talk to guys who are starting out in comedy, and you talk to them about how it's a lot of just get your ass on stage. But for a lot of people who are just doing business and stuff like that, when you move into maybe your first job or something like that, there's a certain amount of I'm shitting blood because I'm so nervous type of decision making. And I'm wondering if there's any way that you rev yourself up, or if there's something that maybe you dealt with as you're moving forward that you do. You know what I mean?
You know, when I have to make a decision, that's one of the greatest things, is getting stuck in that point of not making a decision because I'm afraid of making the wrong one. And sometimes if you make the wrong one, all right, it sucks and you kick yourself, but it's nowhere near as bad a feeling as languishing and not attempting to make one. So sometimes I have to just tell myself that. The important thing here is just don't get stuck in the mud, you fucking fruit. I really talk to myself like that. It's take a risk, make a choice, or try something, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's okay. It's not a big deal, because there's nothing worse than listening to somebody talk about how they're, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and they never try it. They never try it. So the fact is, you got to take a shot, because we just talked about Louis and those guys. Look at a guy like Louis. He's the best example of that group, of a guy who has taken a lot of shots, and he has taken a lot of shit before they really worked. Lucky Louie, which I was a part of and we loved doing, we had a lot of fans, was critically destroyed. And they really were nasty to fucking Louis. Pootie Tang, which he directed, the studio took away from him. And he was critically ruined. They said he was a hack and he stunk. All these people that now say he's a genius crucified him before. So he's a guy who didn't let it get to him. He's a guy, I'm sure it bothered him, but he didn't let it stagnate him and make him so afraid that he didn't make decisions or that he didn't take chances. I still remember when he did the pilot for Louis. I remember him talking to me about it and telling me, I was doing this scene with Chelsea Peretti. We're going on this date, and I'm going to be in a helicopter afterwards. He literally just took the chance, because after Lucky Louie, I think there was this other pilot for ABC he was going to do or didn't do. Whatever happened, it didn't go anywhere. Maybe it never got shot. But you watch a guy like that, and that's inspirational. You go, the worst that can happen is it doesn't work. So I can only relay it in my business. But I think it's the same for everybody, dude. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But you cannot just sit there and go, someday it will happen. You got to take a shot at it.
Gotcha. Thank you very much, man.
Okay, buddy. Good luck.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Roland in Texas. What's up? Hello.
Yeah, Jimmy.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, how's it going? Hey, y'all had a great show today. I loved it. Smiled from ear to ear all morning.
Oh, good. Yeah, that was a fun one.
Yeah. Hey, I have a question. I'm sober. This year will be my third year being sober. I was, alcoholic addict. But now that I'm off of that, now I drink coffee.
Yeah.
So I try to get that high with the caffeine.
Sure.
Those energy drinks. And then, then there's people that take medication, for little illnesses, little pains or whatever. So how does that justify being sober if you've been sober for so many years and then you take the guy said vices, have other vices? I mean,
how do you justify it? In all honesty, I don't know what medication you're talking about, but things like whether it's coffee or food, you have to look at it in degrees. Like, when's the last time you drank coffee and almost rear-ended somebody? Or like, what statistically, how many people are drinking coffee and then murder someone and don't remember it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, we all know the difference between drinking and drugging, what your life is like, and being sober and drinking coffee. So, like they say, it's progress, not perfection. No one's saying to be a saint. No one's saying that, everything, unhealthy in your life is gone. Those are just the main substances that have to be removed for any change to take place. That's the way I look at it. I smoked for a long time. That was also self-destructive. But eventually I quit. If I was drinking and getting high still, I probably never would have quit smoking. I probably never would have started eating right. So it's all, what you're comfortable doing. For me, I can't drink and I can't do drugs successfully. I just can't do it. And I know I can't do it. If I had this much trouble with sex and food and other stuff, that stuff would just obviously still be a disaster in my adult life. But we're not perfect people, dude. We're not saints.
Well, yeah, but people like I was going through this treatment, and this one guy, he's been sober so many years, but then we learned that tobacco, nicotine, is bad for us. So this guy would always, I've been so many years sober, alcohol, this and that. But then, if he didn't have a cigarette, this dude would be, your attitudes change if you don't have coffee or, that nicotine fix.
Sure.
That kind of effect. I don't smoke myself, but I see how people can be if they don't have a cigarette. Man, are they, I'm pretty sure you've seen that also. Or caffeine, if they haven't had their caffeine fix in the morning, isn't that still being an addict?
How many women have you ever heard on a documentary cry and say that they were prostituting for coffee? How many guys have you ever seen in prison because they stole or they hit somebody over the head with a pipe to get money to get a cigarette or a coffee? Do you know what I mean? It's like hey, look, technically, all are unhealthy for you. Sure, I know people going, caffeine and nicotine are illegal drugs. Okay, fine. If people want to use that as an excuse to continue drinking, that's fine. But for me, getting high and fucking drinking is the things I can't do. Like nicotine, all right, caffeine, not the healthiest shit. But I know people who were sober for many, many years and they had great lives who drank or coffee and smoked cigarettes. So if coffee is the worst of your vices, life is pretty fucking good. Cigarettes are a nasty one. That's one that you're going to get cancer from doing. And it does change your mood, but it doesn't change your mood the way most of the other ones do. When you quit smoking, you become a cranky motherfucker. But I don't think you've ever seen anybody in a standoff with police because they needed a cup of coffee.
True that.
Okay?
All right, man. Hey, bro, love you, man. Love your
Thank
work.
you. All right, pal. Good luck, okay?
Yeah.
Bye, mister. Hi, Hayden in California. Hayden, how come you're not loving? I just had to interject a little laughter. What's up?
I just wanted to tell you, I'm a huge fan. This is the first time I've ever spoke to you. I actually played a clip of you last night with some of my friends when you did a skit on a PSA of Winnie the Pooh with Kevin Smith and Anthony and Opie, and it kills every time I play it with my friends.
Oh, good. Yeah,
and,
I don't remember it, but that's cool.
Yeah. So I got this problem. I got out of the military, and I got a girlfriend, and she came right out of college, and I kind of jumped into the college scene. I'm 26 now. I'm pretty old for college, I guess. I mean, everyone's more of a younger game.
Nah,
so, yeah, I started working in the coffee business, and the girl training me, she's like 21 years old. Everyone there is young, and I can't help but flirt. And I'm having dreams, man. Like, I never had a wet dream in my life, but I seriously think about these girls all the time. And I bring it home too. Like, I come home with a hard on about other girls, and I'm screwing my old lady, and it's fucking me up in the head. And I don't know what to do about it, because it's the most challenged I've ever been. I mean, when I was in the Army, I used to do prostitutes and stuff like that because it was easier to get by. And, you know, it's hard to have a relationship when you're in the military.
Sure.
Because you're always gone. So I would go and do a girl that I have no affiliation to, or would not care about me if something happened. And
having dreams, by the way, and sometimes thinking of other women is normal. Believe me, she's having dreams too. I mean, don't think it was an accident. You came home early one day and she was watching Amistad with a cucumber next to her. You know what I mean? It's like we all have fantasies about other people in relationships. You know, you don't want to obsess over it. That's probably not the healthiest. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all, dude. I think that's pretty healthy.
Okay. It's just
okay?
It's scaring me because, I mean, like I'm taking them to heart, and then I'm going to work and I'm talking to these girls, and it's becoming more than what I can handle.
Yeah,
and
you don't want to be too crazy with it, you know, too flirty, because you don't want to be the creepy guy. There's times where I thought I was being charming and I was the creeper. Like, I thought I was being charming as I stood there squeezing my penis through my khakis. I'm like, nobody thinks that's sexy. They think I'm a fool. You know, you gotta just not be creeper. You know, flirting's a little bit okay, but don't be a creeper.
Okay, thanks.
Okay?
I mean, like, really all I just want to do is just have lunch with these young girls and kind of all over them for a little bit. I mean, I don't plan on cheating, but yeah. I mean, it's still, at the same time, you know, I still want to get my kicks off being 26 and seeing a girl that's 20 and.
Sure, I understand.
She's just sitting there and calling herself a baby. I love it.
Sometimes, you know, I'm 47 and sometimes I'll talk to a girl and I think it's really sexy when they'll say something. I'll go, oh, I'm just getting my flirt on. And I laugh like that. Oh, they get damp. All right, buddy. Good luck.
All right. Much love, man.
Goodbye, little sweetie. Hi, Tim in New Jersey. What's up, Tim?
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good, Tim.
All right. Where is the line when it comes to comedy? Because with Pete Davidson, I also read a lot on it, and a lot of people think it came off more mean and bullyish. I know you hate that word.
No, I don't. I mean, if it makes sense.
Then he even said it himself, like he bullied an old man out. But where is the line? Like, when can a comedian, like, is a comedian a getaway free card with everything? Do you know?
No. It all depends, you know, again, on what your true intentions are. Like, when it comes to lines, there is no line. It's something that kind of changes and fluctuates depending on the subject matter, who you're talking to. You know what I mean? Like, if you make certain jokes that aren't offensive to one person, like if you and your friends make gay jokes, it's fine. And if there's a gay guy sitting there and you're making them, well, then it could be an issue, or it could be seen as insensitive or mean. It depends on what you're trying to do. Pete's a young guy. You know, when he's making fun of Justin, Pete texted me and he's like, am I a monster? Like, he felt bad about it. He's a guy who listened to the Opie and Anthony show for many years. So he hears this atmosphere, which is very, very harsh. You know, after Patrice died, we were brutal to each other. Remember that day? It was like Keith Robinson, Colin, myself, Rich Voss, Bobby Kelly, just attacking each other relentlessly. And then we had to announce that Patrice was dead. Everyone knew he was in a coma, but we had to announce that our friend was dead. But we were horrible to each other. So that's and it's a release for us. Like when comedians hit each other, we hit pretty fucking hard because that's kind of what we respond to. That's what's funny to us. So in that studio, I think you're assumed to be in that world. Like, you know what I mean? We've been hitting E-Rock hard for many years, or whether it's Roland or any of us have gotten smashed pretty hard. So I think that Pete was doing it in that vein as opposed to, I want to hurt Justin. But after having heard the audio, I understood why Justin and Eric were a little freaked out because, again, you're the fucking exec producer of a show, and a guy, even though he's just trying to be funny and obnoxious, is saying something that you think might hurt the show legitimately. Like, I get how NBC would hear that and go, hey, guys, you're the executive producers, and here he is saying the show's going to fail, and you're just laughing along. So that's one of those things where it was just like, those guys are great guys. Maybe they're not the right mix for that atmosphere, because that is a very harsh atmosphere. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Do you know as a comedian when you're bashing someone, when it gets serious for the other person? Like, I feel like he doesn't know that line. I feel like
he might not have. You know what? That's a good question. When I was 22 years old, and then, you know, and I was in the business for a few years, I didn't have the common sense that I had when I was 30. And by common sense, I mean just the ability to kind of read that energy. And I raised this point the other day, and it wasn't an excuse for Pete, but he's a guy who's very harsh when he makes fun of shit. Like, he makes fun of his own show harsh. When Trump was on, Pete's like one of those guys, almost Asperger, where he just says whatever the fuck he wants to say. You know, he made, again, I always talk about his dad's death, but he does make fun of that. He does reference that. He's like, he said, whatever things are bad, I just mentioned 9/11, and it makes me, like, he actually, he deconstructs his own motives like that. Like, he's almost painfully honest when he's mocking himself. So to look at that guy like he went out of his way to hurt Justin is just not true, because he takes his own self apart very brutally. So that's just the type of humor he has. And maybe he should have sensed 5 minutes earlier, like, oh, this is legitimately hurting this guy's or could hurt him, so I should back off. But I don't think it was done to be a dickhead.
Yeah, I just think maybe he's a little not a mature comic yet. And
again, that comes in time, too. He's 22 years old.
Yeah.
He's very, very, got a tremendous amount of exposure. So you're saying things when you're 22 that, nobody heard me when I said that stuff when I was 22. Nobody heard me when I said a lot of the shit I said the first 10 years of my fucking career. I've said horrible things, dude, the last 16 years of my career. Can you imagine my first 10, the things I said if I had been on the radio? I mean, come on. So that's just the thing, like, as you continue, you learn, like, oh, okay, maybe I should have backed off a little bit here, a little bit there. But, I would rather see a guy learn as he goes than clam up and be afraid all the time.
But I do think that Justin was more hurt than he was when I thought it was more of a feeling thing about, than his show. I think it was 50-50, actually.
I think it was a combination. I do. Yeah. I think it was a combination. And I think those guys, just from what I heard on the air, they thought Opie should have stepped in and stopped it. But in that, maybe Opie could have went to break. But in those moments, if Opie would have just said, all right, Pete, lay off, people would come after Opie. What are you, the fucking hole? What are you, the hole? Or if he would have said, all right, let's go to break. What are you, fucking stopping the laughs? Like, in that position, then he doesn't stop it. And the guys are like, what the fuck, dude? You know this is hurting our thing. Why aren't you? That's a really shitty position for him to be in as well. In that, you know what I mean? Because that wasn't just a typical teasing. That was like where there was another thing at play, and then he's looking at it like, well, the people are enjoying it at home, and Vic is in on it. Like, I don't know what I would have done in that position either.
Isn't it his job, sort of Opie's job, to make those moments great? I mean, like, to keep them going, because that's really, like, I love that radio. And Howard Stern made a big career about that, like, on his radio, so why do they expect him to do that? So I was a little upset that they want.
Well, they're not perfect either. I mean, they're guys who are looking at their own situation. They're not lifelong radio guys. You know what I mean? That's why when me and Opie were fighting and Justin stepped in, and you know what I mean? It's like sometimes you're in this environment, you didn't come into this environment for years and years and years. So you have these things that you're not sure how to handle or not sure what you should do.
Yeah.
All right.
I just like you clearing it up. I saw you at Montclair. I loved it.
Thank you, man. That was an awesome show.
Yep, I met Cheddar. I did like him so much.
Oh, yeah. Cheddar, people ask me because I was at the fucking show and this character really is one-dimensional. All right, thanks, man.
All right, thanks a lot, man.
Chris in Georgia. Hi, Chris. Anger question.
Yeah, how's it going, bud? I've noticed that you've become a lot calmer over the past, 2 or 3 years. And what I wanted to know is what do you do? What steps do you take to control when you're getting really mad about something? What do you do to avert your mind away from it so that you don't get so angry?
At times you have to just think, like, when has this helped me? Like, anger is a poison, man. It fucks me up, makes me emotionally hungover. I do things I regret. I say things I regret. I'm not perfect by any stretch, but in the last couple of years and even in the last few months, I've really tried to say, just fuck it, let it go, man. It's not worth it. In traffic, I'm always telling myself that. Just relax and let it go. When you start seeing friends die of natural causes, you start to realize that stress and all these things do matter. And I don't want to be unhappy. When I look at my life and I step back, I have a really good life. Like, I'm very fucking lucky. I get to talk on the radio every day and goof off with people. And today I got to just fucking goof off and talk to, Cooney and fucking Dick Cavett. And it was so much fun. And like, what the fuck do I have to be mad about? Like, you know what I mean? If I wanted a relationship, I could probably be in one. I go on the road. I do gigs. Like, okay, could I be like, hey, you're not doing Madison Square Garden. But so what? I'm doing 1,000 or 1,200 seats of fan. Like, my life is fucking really unbelievably good. And I've met every hero I ever wanted to meet. And I've gotten to know a lot of them. Like, I say this stuff to myself, like, you ungrateful jerk off. Why don't you be happy for what you have? And then I look at all the friends I have that went nowhere in comedy, or the friends I have that are dead, or that committed suicide. And I'm like, who the fuck am I? You ungrateful cunt. Like, I really have to straighten myself out once in a while and realize how lucky I am. Because when you compare yourself, I'll tell you a big turning point or a thing that really shook me when Robin Williams hung himself. Because as a comedian, you simply cannot get more successful than Robin Williams. You cannot get more successful than Grammys, selling out, Carnegie Hall and all these amazing specials. I think People magazine put him on and they said the funniest man alive years ago. He's had a hit sitcom. He has won an Oscar. He has done everything in fucking show business you can do. He was beloved. Everyone in the world knows this guy, and everyone in the world loves this motherfucker, and he hangs himself. So that means to me that no matter how perfect things are on the outside, if you're not feeling right and you don't fix what's broken on the inside, none of it matters. I didn't know Robin as intimately as to talk to him in those last months of his life. But I do know that his show made it one season and got yanked off the air. And I know that no matter who you are, that bothers you. Maybe he hadn't had a movie that he liked in a while. And again, I'm purely speculating. Or maybe that really hit him hard. And maybe you start to think, I'm a failure. I'm over. I'm done. Like, no matter how great you are and what you've achieved. So I think the fucking key is, man, put things into perspective accurately. Like, I would love to have sat down with him and go, are you out of your fucking mind, dude? Really? You're one of the most beloved guys in the country. Are you crazy? That's easy for me to say because I'm on the outside.
Well, I didn't mean to laugh a few minutes ago, but when you mentioned about how you feel like who am I to I'm an ungrateful cunt for feeling the way I do.
Sure.
I guess I never really thought of it that way, so it kind of made me chuckle because, like, yeah, you're right. Who the hell am I to feel this way? When other people have it worse. But my dad was very obsessive and depressed, and he always just overthink things. And the older I get, I'm getting more and more like him. And he was a miserable motherfucker the older he got. And I don't want to go down that road. I don't want to be that way.
Yes.
I obsess over shit. I just cannot turn shit loose from them.
Sometimes it helps to realize when I'm in those moments, I'm doing it because I'm addicted to being angry. Anger is a tremendous addiction, or I'm addicted to that feeling in my stomach up to the bottom of my neck of feeling fucking mad. It makes me feel a certain thing when I'm yelling. And it's like, it's a disgusting feeling after, but I'm addicted to that unhealthy shit. So sometimes if I'm like, no, just let it go. I look at guys again. Guys like Patton Oswalt, he's an example. He's a guy I admire a lot. I think he's funny. But I listen when he talks politics, and he doesn't allow anger to interfere with him being funny. Neither does Colin. Colin can be funny about anything because he doesn't get in his own way being fucking mad. So just from a professional point of view, I look at guys I admire, and I'm like, what are you doing, stupid? Stop it. Louis another one. I keep raising Louis today. Another guy who can literally talk about anything logically and not allow destructive and obsessive anger to block him. Anger is a blockade, dude. It almost never helps. So when I keep that in mind, it helps, okay?
I'll give that a try. I appreciate it.
All right, good luck.
Thanks.
All right, take care. That guy's a dead man. Let's see here. What's the joke? Kevin in Houston wants to ask about an E-Rock joke I made about that sweet boy. Hello.
Hello. I'm going to bring this up first. Do you remember it's probably 4 or 5 years ago, but it was O&A whenever E-Rock went on vacation, and y'all called him in the studio in the hotel room, and Anthony just made whale noises for 15 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was fucking brutal. I mean, that was mean. What Pete Davidson did the other day, I don't think was mean, but that's just me. But you made a joke the other day about E-Rock was talking about having the surgery on his head and having the anesthesia before the surgery.
Okay.
And it got steamrolled over, but you said something like, well, did they shoot you with a tranquilizer dart?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was fucking hilarious to me.
Thank you. Yeah, that was one of those. That was one of those ones that just, you swing and a miss. But thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
So, anyway, have a good one, buddy.
All right, you too, man. Take care. Thank you very kindly. And let me see. Hold on. I cannot find the page I had up. Let's see. How about Brett in Arizona? Hi, Brett.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was interested in, I was in the Navy and whatnot, right? And I heard about this whole FBI's under the investigation of the Criminal Justice Department, apparently. You heard about that?
No.
Yeah, I guess, you heard about the Oregon business.
No.
A bunch of guys went to a wildlife refuge and basically said...
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well,
yeah, that one. So basically now, the FBI is under investigation by the Justice Department, I think.
Okay.
So I'm just curious, how would I, right, go about obtaining a private investigator's license? And my understanding is I have to get a certificate of some sort.
I don't know. You know who you might want to ask about that?
What's that?
Club Soda Kenny on Twitter. Maybe.
I'm sorry, say again?
Maybe you go to Club Soda Kenny on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
He may have a better answer for you or a better route you can take. I don't know what the road to that is, dude. I really don't know what you need. But he's an ex-cop, too, so that really helps.
I've been talking to universities, and they don't even know.
Okay, don't know, buddy.
Club Soda Kenny on Twitter.
Yeah. I follow him, so check the guys I follow. He's one of them.
All right, bet. Thanks a lot.
All right, goodbye, mister. Let's see here. Alan in Sacramento. What's up? I only got 5 minutes. Hi.
Hey, Jim. Old guy here, and 16 years sober behind a meth thing. And one thing I learned is that the fight or flight chemical, the norepinephrine chemical in our brain, causes us to do all kinds of strange and wonderful things.
Yeah.
Thrill-seeking behavior is one of them that leads us into the strange and wonderful worlds of sexual behaviors, and it also drives our anger response. And one of the things that I've had to work on myself, trying to be chemical-free, is to recognize those anger triggers and work to stay away from that. And the gentleman who was called before talking about the anger thing, I felt a little resonance with him in that, and there's always something to be gained by talking with a professional, a mental health professional, about those sorts of feelings.
Yeah.
Because anger, like you said, is one of the most destructive behaviors we've got. And if we can save one person from being angry today, it will have been a good day.
Well, it's funny because you never hear, even when you hear about fighters, you never hear about a boxer winning and they say, how do you do it? And he said, I just got really angry as I fought. That's almost a weakness when they fight, to be angry because you don't make good decisions or you make harsher decisions. So, yeah, I mean, I'm certainly not a master of it, but it is a chemical thing. You're right. And it's so difficult. But the more practice or the more I don't feed into it, the easier it gets to not feed into it.
That's exactly right. It's those repetitive behaviors that become normalized in our brain that trip us up. And I'm going to let you go and take another call, but I've really become a fan of yours over the last year here, buddy.
All right, thank you, Alan. I appreciate it. Take care. Joe in Georgia. Hello, Joe. How do you do, Joe? Find the room comfortable. Joe? Oh, Joseph dropped. Oh, for the love of God. Tim in Tennessee. Hello, Tim.
Hello, Jimmy. How you doing today, buddy?
How are you?
Not bad. Got a quick question for you. My wife has recently started AA, and I'm curious, aside from speaking to her like Chip normally would, what could I do to help support her? I want to ask questions, what did you guys talk about, what's going on, but that doesn't seem like the right thing to do. Was really confused and was wondering if you could kind of point me in the right direction.
Well, from what I've heard, I've never been to an Al-Anon meeting, so I can't comment from personal experience, but I've heard they work wonders for people who are dealing with someone who is A, actively drinking, or B, getting sober. So living with an alcoholic is a nightmare, and maybe that would be helpful, and those people would have experience they could share with you as what would work and what doesn't work. But I definitely think giving somebody a little bit of space, if they want to tell you what they talked about, but if someone's just kind of finding their way into a new life like that, whether it's drugs, alcohol, whatever it is, you might want to give them a little bit of space from it, and they'll talk about it when they're ready. Sometimes just being there for a person and not, believe it or not, sometimes just being mellow and not arguing with them. I don't mean take shit from them, but sometimes just not starting a fight. Just being, hey, whatever, cool, I'm happy for you, that's great. Whatever you want to talk about is great. Sometimes just giving somebody that little cushion makes them feel better and relaxed, and they can kind of feel comfortable in this new life that they're heading out to. Do you know what I mean? But I would suggest going to one of those meetings, which I've never been to, okay?
Absolutely, thank you. And one last thing, should I celebrate, like today's actually 1 week that she went. She got her, 1 week sober. Should I try to celebrate things like that, or show that I'm proud, or just kind of let her lead the way and see how things go?
I would say let her lead the way. If you want to give her a hug, maybe that's great, but I wouldn't make a big deal about it, because you don't want to, a week is wonderful, but as they say, tomorrow is day 8. You just want to, it's a lifelong thing and it's a process. So after a week, there's really no the first milestone is really 90 days. So, kind of just, again, they say wear it like a loose fitting garment, just kind of be relaxed about it.
Awesome. Thank you for
your
advice, man.
Take care. DJ in Canada. Who's Ariana?
Hey, Jimmy.
Hello.
Hey, yeah, you had a lady on the show the other morning. You phoned a friend of hers that you were texting with. I'm just wondering if she ever called you back.
Oh, we texted, yeah, but she's in L.A., so, I don't know if that will ever happen. But, yeah, she's a delight, so I'm hoping. But when I'm out there, maybe I'll see her for dinner.
Right on. Well, let us know how it goes, Jimmy.
Thank you. All right, and I have to wrap up. Matthew, just to answer your question, would like some financial advice about leaving your job to take a better one for less money. If you want to call next week, I apologize, Matt. I didn't get to you. We have other people on the phone, so I'm sorry you had to wait. I'm going to be in Indianapolis tomorrow night. Cleveland, they did release some tickets. They actually added seats, so try it. It might be in the Hard Rock. Because I guess they were very happy with sales and they're getting a little greedy. So definitely go if you want to come see me in Cleveland on Friday and Saturday, Grand Rapids, Michigan. And the Chip cartoon is up if you want to contribute to the Indiegogo. Go to chipchipperson.com and there's a link. And thank you so much to the almost 700 of you who have contributed so far. Very, very appreciated. All right, guys. See you next week.
Thanks for listening to The Jim Norton Show. Hear all that advice whenever you want to on demand at SiriusXM.com/on-demand. On SiriusXM is real.